I know many are feeling some fear with the recent price volatility, but my conviction remains intact. I'm buying this dip, and in today's show, I'm going to tell you why. We are also going to get into how and why Bitcoin continues to attract adoption at the highest levels worldwide, and how Ethereum is looking even stronger with one of the biggest supply squeezes we've ever seen or encountered in this space. We're also going to get into how the SEC is now openly promoting and bullish on crypto. And then to lean into the bullish side of the market a little more, I'm going to get into and share with you guys a massive new catalyst hitting the market right now that most people are completely ignoring because all they see is the market volatility. And what's very, very exciting is that this catalyst I'm talking about is positioning two projects for huge potential upside this cycle. And I'll also explain why they could run extremely hard once the market catches on. So if you're ready to see what's really happening in the market, despite everything you see in the news and in Bitcoin's chart and the volatility, then today's video is for you guys. Happy Friday, by the way, and let's kick it off. Starting with macro, as we like to do, because we know that the macro forces inform and affect the crypto market. If we look over the past week, prices have been all over the place. Sharp swings, big liquidations, and sentiment flipping by the hour. But if we zoom out, as I like to say, because it's so important to see the big picture, we would see that all the signals point in the same direction. Higher adoption, bigger capital inflows, and a global shift in how money views crypto. And yes, I know inflation came in a bit higher and hotter than we were expecting, which I went into in full detail in yesterday's video if you didn't catch it. But instead of panicking, markets took it as a proof that consumers are still spending, which is a very good thing, and that companies keep raising prices. Right now, 92% of all traders still expect the Fed to cut rates in September. So that is also a bullish sentiment or speculation investors and traders have on the market. And if we take a look at what's coming, we see we've also got a big date on the calendar. Fed Chair Jerome Powell is speaking on August 22nd. It's a high stakes moment with the market buzzing about a possible rate cut and even speculation over who might replace him. Any hint of easing in that speech could be the spark that sends crypto ripping higher again. And all in all, at the end of the day, it's important to remember and see that the setup still looks bullish for Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the entire risk asset space. Now let's talk about what's going on in the Bitcoin specific arena of things insofar as institutional adoption and accumulation goes. Because while most eyes have been glued to the price swings, back and forth, Bitcoin has been seeing massive moves from serious investors and serious players. In just the past few days, for instance, Wells Fargo put $130 million into Bitcoin. The $11 billion Emory University endowment, yes, the Ivy League institution, also added another $25 million. And in Asia, Hong Kong family office Avenir disclosed they're now holding more than $1 billion worth of Bitcoin. And it doesn't stop there. The Kindly MD and Nakamoto merger just closed the goal of building a Bitcoin treasury that grows on a per-share basis, funded with over $450 million in a private placement and another $200 million in a convertible note that's set to wrap up soon. Even the US Treasury is getting involved because after some confusion last week, Secretary Scott Bessent stepped in and made it very clear they're still exploring budget-neutral ways to add to the strategic Bitcoin reserve. They've also confirmed they are done selling, locking in roughly 198,000 Bitcoin they already hold. This is structural demand at the highest level. Banks, multi-billion-dollar funds, and governments securing supply for the long term. And it's not just Bitcoin showing this level of conviction. Ethereum is also being bought up at a pace we have not seen before, and the buyers are as serious as it gets. Over the past 8 days, for instance, US spot ETH ETFs have pulled in $3.71 billion in net inflows. Think about that. billions flowing into ETH over just a week, with 1.02 billion of that coming in a single day. And on August 13th, those same ETFs hit 4.47 billion in trading volume, right as ETH came within touching distance of its all-time high. So now we see that ETFs and corporate treasuries now control 8% of Ethereum's total supply. Just 3 months ago, that number was 2.9%. So that's 176% of a jump, removing millions of ETH from the open market. This is why the price action lately has felt so tight. The available supply is shrinking fast. And it's not only ETFs driving this. A whale just scooped up 17,591 ETH worth over $81 million straight from Kraken. And publicly traded SharpLink Gaming made an even bigger, more aggressive move, buying 130,000 ETH for roughly $603.5 million. BlackRock is still on a streak as well, pushing towards 3 million ETH in its holdings and adding more and more at a record pace. Asia is gearing up as well. CNBC reports that Japan and Korea are about to open the floodgates for institutional ETH buying now that new regulations are in place. We also see that Pantera is already positioning itself as well with some huge bets on ETH treasury companies like Bitmine and SharpLink. They are not waiting around. And on-chain data tells us the same story. We see downside liquidity has already been cleared, and there's now a buildup upside liquidity around $4,800, right at the all-time high. And the ETH BTC pair or correlation has dropped from 0.72 to 0.66. And historically, this has been a signal to us that capital is rotating into ETH and eventually will be overflowing into the rest of the altcoin market. Now, if you saw my yesterday's video, you would know that we talked about how Bitcoin dominance has been sliding since May. That trend is holding, and the follow-through is starting to appear across the market. Dominance is still sitting around 59%, and the altcoin side is waking up fast. This is the first monthly bearish cross in BTC dominance since January 2021. And the last time this happened, altcoins didn't just pump, okay? They didn't just rally. They went on a sustained 4-month climb. Okay, up. And the altcoin market cap has also grown by roughly 50% since July, with inflows concentrating into high liquidity projects and narratives that institutions are already embracing. We went into this in great detail in my video yesterday. I do encourage you to go watch it because it was quite detailed. Anyway, we see that the policy backdrop is also the most bullish it's ever been, heading into a potential alt season. SEC Chair Paul Atkins recently said, "We are mobilizing to make America the greatest capital of the world," he said. Add that to the Genius Act, the Clarity Act, and the Treasury actively exploring ways to expand the strategic Bitcoin reserve, and you have an environment where both the charts and the regulators are aligned in the same direction, which tell me yes or no, is that bullish? To me, I think so. To me, I think it's completely obvious. That's the bigger picture. Now, let's zoom in on one of the newest catalysts that I was talking about in my intro that could help drive this rotation even faster. Altcoins are also setting up for a strong run, and fresh catalysts are emerging from major players within the industry. One of the biggest moves this week is coming from Coinbase, and it has the potential to directly accelerate the capital rotation we've all been talking about. Coinbase has revived its stablecoin Bootstrap fund after nearly 6 years, with the goal of pushing fresh USDC and the EU REC liquidity straight into DeFi. The first protocols to receive this injection are Aave, Morpho, Kamino, and Jupiter. This move puts them in the spotlight with added resources from one of the most trusted and well-capitalized companies in the space. It's a strong signal that these four will likely see increased attention in the months ahead. And you heard it here first. So today I want to focus on the two that stand out the most based off of their risk to reward profile. So let's begin. So first, let's take a look at Morpho. Morpho is quickly becoming one of the most talked about names in DeFi lending, and for good reason. It's one of the fastest growing platforms on Ethereum right now, and it's already plugged into Coinbase, which means millions of Coinbase users can take out crypto-backed loans without selling their assets. That's a direct pipeline from one of the largest user bases in the industry into Morpho's system. The numbers are climbing extremely fast too. $6.6 billion are locked and $3.3 billion are actively borrowed, while $14.6 million in borrow fees have come in just the last month. So all of this has already made Morpho the second largest lending protocol in all of crypto, right behind Aave. And they have some serious backing as well. We're looking at A16Z, Pantera, Coinbase Ventures, Brevin Howard, Kraken Ventures, and more. With that kind of firepower, expansion has been aggressive. They've also teamed up with Chainlink to secure their price feeds and added support for Lido's STETH, so users can borrow against staked ETH and still earn rewards. And they even won a Uniswap Foundation grant to expand onto Unichain. And this July rollout has also brought them onto Base, Arbitrum, Optimism, Polygon, and Mode. And when it comes to their token, Morpho's main use right now is governance and ecosystem rewards. Staking and fee sharing are planned, but not live yet. And their DAO has already approved a fee switch that would send part of the protocol's $31 million in annualized revenue to stakers. Once that's active, higher TVL and loan volume will directly benefit holders. So until then, the value is tied to governance power, ongoing incentives, and speculation that staking and fee sharing could kick off soon, which could be a huge catalyst for the price when it happens. So right now, Morpho's market cap sits around $725 million. If it were hypothetically to match Aave's current valuation, because it's a comparable, right, that would represent a 6.75x or multiple from where we are right now. Next up, from Coinbase's stablecoin Bootstrap fund, is Kamino Finance. If you're not familiar, Kamino holds the top spot among all the Solana dApps by total value locked, and is the undisputed leader in lending on the network. Think of it as Aave, but on Solana, a platform that makes it easy for anyone to lend, borrow, and earn yield. And right now, Kamino has more than $3.16 billion in TVL and has generated close to $10 million in fees in just the last month alone. And loan activity has surged more than 300% over the last year, making it the fastest growing lending protocol in the entire Solana ecosystem. And Kamino's approach is built on automated strategies that quietly handle liquidity provision, lending, and leverage behind the scenes. Users simply have to deposit their assets into vaults that automatically compound rewards, eliminating the need for constant management. It also supports a wide variety of markets, from SOL and liquid staking tokens to stablecoins. And if we take a look at its token, we see that their token, abbreviated KMNO, is closely tied to its growth as well. A portion of every protocol fee goes to stakers as yield, directly linking Kamino's activity to the rewards its community earns. Staking also unlocks boosted vault rewards, reduces fees when using the platform, and governance power to help shape the future development. So as TVL and user activity grow, so does the scale of those rewards and benefits, giving both traders and investors a strong aligned incentive, which is extremely important, to hold and stake Kamino, their token. There's also the bigger picture to consider. We have to remember that Solana is trading around $200 and attracting real institutional interest, with multiple treasury companies adding to their long-term holdings. So while Ethereum might be leading the narrative at the moment, Solana's turn will come. And when capital starts rotating into its ecosystem, Kamino will be one of the top projects positioned to benefit. Now let's talk about Kamino's market cap. Right now, Kamino's market cap sits at about $155 million. Matching Morpho's valuation would mean roughly a $4.7 multiple from here. And if it ever reached Aave's market cap, okay, the upside would be close to 32 times. That's exactly why I'm buying right now. Bitcoin is showing the strongest institutional demand we've ever tracked. Ethereum's supply is getting vacuumed up at record speeds. And the SEC, which we know is the most important regulator in the world, is openly saying they want the US to be the crypto capital of the planet. So, with Coinbase bringing back their stablecoin Bootstrap fund, protocols like Morpho and Kamino have a real shot at driving more adoption and securing their place as leaders this cycle. Things are unfolding exactly as we've been talking about for months. So do not let short-term price swings shake your conviction and your plan. My research team and I are here to help you cut through the noise with research and data and share with you the projects that can put you in the best position to take full advantage of this bull market. So if you appreciated today's video or gained any value or learned anything, I just ask you like the video and share it with a friend or family member that needs to know what's going on, okay? And then of course, make sure you're subscribed if you haven't already. It means so much to me every time I see my numbers go up. So thank you so much to all of you who have been supporting me and all your lovely comments. You have no idea how much they encourage me. And if you want to lean into a little bit more as to why this dip right now is a trap, I'd encourage you once again just to go watch my yesterday's video because I break it all down in detail. So that's it for this week, guys. I love you so much. Have a wonderful weekend. Get some rest, go outside, make sure you laugh. It's good for your brain, you know? Anyway, I'll catch you guys in my video next Monday. Ciao.